What's up, guys? I'm over here getting ready to draft. Drafting number 7 overall. I'm trying to do this for my sister. I don't really expect all of you guys to kind of watch throughout the whole thing. Just a couple draft tips, some things that I find useful, hopefully that I can share with others and try to help them kind of understand what might be going on in the draft process. Right now it's my turn. Again, I'm number 7th pick overall. I look at generally who's available, best player. Saquon Barkley, yes, he is hurt. Can't really blame him too much with what's going on. As of right now with the running backs, I think he's the safest bet, so I'm going to go ahead and draft him. My wife is calling, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to decline that for right now. And yep, they did end up picking Saquon Barkley. Hope my wife doesn't get mad. I will call her back here shortly. Although she did know that I rejected her phone, but we'll get back to that here shortly. All these guys are pretty much probably going to be gone by the time you get to your draft again, especially if you're picking in the middle of the draft. Again, number 7th overall pick. So generally what I like to do is look at the 2 players that are ahead of my pick. Hopefully these players are still available. I think if any of these 2 or even 3 players were to fall to you, that would be a pretty good steal. But it all just really depends on who is at that spot or at that position. Most definitely, really wouldn't mind Dalvin Cook. Rob Gronkowski, top tight end of the fantasy. So it's really just kind of depending on how you guys really want to draft. If you want to wait for a tight end, you guys could still get a good tight end in the 4th or 6th round. So for this time, I'm going to go ahead and not select him. I really do like Adam Thielen, especially in PPR leagues. Last year, he had 91 receptions. Didn't really have a lot of touchdowns, but in a PPR league, 1 point per reception. You can't really beat that. He's looking to double that again. But it's just kind of really knowing what's going on in your draft. Those 2 guys that I had, they did end up falling. If I can get Julio Jones, he just went. But if I was able to get Julio Jones with my 2nd overall pick, I think that would have been a steal. Keenan Allen, he's a good safe pick. He has been pretty good for the last couple years, but I personally probably won't choose him. Now I have these 3 guys. Again, I already have a good running back. Just to kind of mix things up, I'm going to go ahead and pick AJ Green. He's a pretty safe bet there. He is projected to get over 1,000 yards in receptions, plus almost 90 reception yards. Again, very good points per reception player, especially if you are playing in the PPR league. So kind of going back to the draft, I still have these guys in my queue. I doubt any of them will be available when I'm there. Looking into the 3rd round of players, I really like Christian McCaffrey and Amari Cooper at this spot. I'm not just saying I like Amari Cooper because I'm a Raider fan, but he has a lot of good potential upside this year, especially with Jordy Nelson freeing up a lot of the other draft or the other wide receiver position there in Oakland. I feel like this year is going to be a good year for them. Really, it's a boom or bust for Amari Cooper, but I think this is a year that he breaks out. Again, talking about PPR, Christian McCaffrey, especially if you're able to get him in the 3rd round, I think that's an amazing steal. You have, he had alone last year 80 receptions. Again, this is for a running back. So I think if he's there, I think that's who I'm going to pick, even though all these other guys are still available. Stephon Diggs is another person who is good in a PPR league. Kind of curious to see what goes on with him with a new quarterback at Kirk Cousins. Tight end Zach Ertz, that's another good tight end. Good top 3 in my books. Top 3 tight ends. Gronkowski, and then who am I thinking of? Travis Kelce, and then Zach Ertz. Those are my top 3 tight ends. Looks like somebody just took Stephon Diggs and then Christian McCaffrey, so he's not there. I still think with the next tight end that would be available, there's still several good tight ends. Picking Zach Ertz right now in my book is too soon. He is good receptions, but my pick will probably end up being Amari Cooper. I like him. Like I said, he has a lot of potential. So that's what's my guess is going to be. Going on into the next several rounds. Right now we're entering the third round. I would definitely love 100% if Jarvis Landry were to fall to me. Look, I mean, again, points per reception, 112 last year, and that was with Jay Cutler as his quarterback for half of the season. So he definitely has a better quarterback, depending who you ask, but they're in Cleveland. But he's looking for another monster year there in Cleveland. That is going to turn around for them. So if he falls to me, I probably would go ahead and end up taking him at that slot right there. Russell Wilson, good quarterback, probably not ready to draft a quarterback just yet. In my opinion, if I were to look right around the area of where my next pick would be, I got Royce Freeman, not too sold on Lamar Miller, Mark Ingram suspended for 4 games. I might pick up either one of the 2 tight ends at this point, but we were talking about quarterbacks. Still don't have another quarterback, but then you're talking about Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. So, I mean, there's still a good amount of quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's a sleeper this year. Good potential there. So, still not really too hesitant. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's going to have a breakout year. What he's already done in this preseason, I know it's just preseason. Preseason doesn't really mean a lot, but I think he has a lot of potential in that offense, especially if Antonio Brown were to get hurt. Antonio Brown did walk off with an ankle sprain the other day, so keep your eye on Juju Smith-Schuster. Not to mention my son, we nickname him Juju. My wife is a Steelers fan, so that's a little fun fact there for you. Man, if Juju Smith-Schuster, Jarvis Landry fall to me, that's really big. I don't really know which one I'll do. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's clearly a number 2 in that offense in Pittsburgh. Jarvis Landry would probably be more of a number 1. They're in Cleveland, depending on if they get Josh Gordon back. Man, this is really tough because Juju Smith-Schuster as my number 3 overall or 4th round pick. I'm going to look at those. I only have 1 running back. It might be a good thing depending on your league. If you have a 3 wide receiver league or even a deeper draft in the flex position. So I'm going to see what running backs are available. I'm looking through, and these are all wide receivers. All wide receivers. LaShawn McCoy, it's a safe bet, but he's on his decline, so I want to stay away from him. Royce Freeman, I'm going to chance it here. If I can get Royce Freeman in the 5th round, I think I'll get a steal. I'm going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster just because of the potential that he has there. Either or, Juju Smith-Schuster or Jarvis Landry would have been a good pick there. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more picks, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But you still have a good kind of a roundabout team so far. If I can't get Royce Freeman with that pick, my next pick with wide receiver, or even I would probably not wide receiver, I would probably choose Greg Olsen as a tight end. And then I would try to look for that running back, because when you look at your running backs and who's available, you have Lamar Miller. I mean, I guess if Royce Freeman's taken off and I really need a running back, I might take Lamar Miller. But then you have Kerryon Johnson, Rashard Penny, who is going to be not playing for the remainder of the preseason. Hopefully he'll be ready by round 1. or by week 1, that would still be a good pickup. It's still kind of too early to tell who gets more touches, him or Carson. The other running back in Carson, Chris Carson. This guy right here. That's the other running back in Seattle. So one of those two would be good. Let's take a look back here at where we're at in things. Somebody just took Royce Freeman. Darn it. All right. See, I already have 4 picks away. I already have my wide receivers, and I'm pretty happy with those wide receivers. So if I were to choose, I would probably end up going with, who's there at tight end? See, now this is where it kind of gets a little tricky. If I were to wait and pick a running back, type of quarterback, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson. I really think Deshaun Watson is going to have a breakout year. He had a breakout year last year before he got hurt. But right now it's just kind of hard to say what type of potential he'll end up being. I'm going to chance this one. I think if I pick up a quarterback now, I can still get these 2 wide receivers or running backs, or one of the 2 at least, with my next couple of picks. Marshawn Lynch, for a number 2 running back, I would prefer him at my flex position. So if you already have picked up a running back at this point, that might be a good one. But I think if I were to choose at this slot, I really like Deshaun Watson as quarterback. I mean, you still have other quarterbacks to choose from. You don't necessarily need to pick a quarterback because you still have all these other ones. Matt Ryan, I think he's a sleeper, especially with Julio Jones. If I were to say Dion Lewis, still not too sold. He's there in Tennessee. I'm going to go ahead and pick Deshaun Watson. And then we run to the Greg Olsen. I really like him, but I really need a running back, so that's probably where I'll pick at least one of these 3 running backs with my next pick. Like I said, I can be here to the whole draft. That's not going to be entertaining for you, but hopefully I've provided enough way to kind of help you draft in your league. This is all good information for even yourselves. Doesn't matter where you draft. I recommend doing at least 3 or 4 mock drafts before you do your real draft, just so you can kind of know who's there, if somebody's taken, who else are you going to take. David Njoku is another sleeper that I think at tight end will have a great year. I really think that Cleveland offense is going to really grow and blossom this year. So I'll go ahead and stop it there, guys. If you have any questions, you're watching this, just hit me up, message me. A lot of people who watch this will probably be my friends and family because I don't have a lot of subscribers on YouTube. But if you have any questions, hit me up, and I'll try to help out as much as I can. Again, trying to help my sister out with this, so hopefully she can try to benefit from this the most. But yeah, guys, we'll talk to you soon.